Episode 2 of, drumroll please, What the Heck Does Wes Use? Today we'll be covering 3 items. We'll be discussing protecting the undercarriage. Very important. We're discussing measuring power and cadence, and we'll also be going through some footwear. So, let's start with the basics. First off, socks. I like the Primal brand crew socks. Now, here's something interesting. Maybe, maybe not. I don't wear socks cycling. I got into cycling through triathlon, bought into the whole don't wear socks thing, and it's just comfortable for me. So unless I'm riding in cold weather, I don't wear socks cycling, and I rarely, because of my heavy sweat rate, ride in cold temperatures. So works out pretty well. For running though, I really like these Primal cycling socks because first off, I like the crew length. So there's more fabric here to absorb sweat because again, I sweat like crazy. They're a good wicking sock. There's just enough fabric to really give just a slight bit of cushion and protect my skin from the shoe, but they haven't over-engineered these. Now I know not every sock does this, but I found as I was going through running socks, I just felt like there's a certain level of cushioning up at the ball of the foot, and then there's a different type of fabric on the back of the foot, and the weaves this direction, that direction, and then they've got compression under the arch. Too much for me. It felt like there was too much going on when I just wanted to feel like there was nothing going on. So my pick for running is the Primal socks. They're durable as hell. You're gonna pay $15 a pair, but they last a really, really long time. So that's the sock of choice. Like I said, I go barefoot for cycling for all practical purposes. Let's talk about measuring power, heart rate, mapping, the whole 9 yards. The bike computer. So, if you know me personally, you know I am not good at technology. It's just something I don't enjoy. So that's, if you don't enjoy it, typically you're not that good at it. I don't put any effort into it. It frustrates me. I was always a fan of the Garmin 500. I had one for years. It worked. It died. I got the 520, the touch screen. Didn't like the way the screen read, the way it lit up. It was smaller. The touchscreen drove me nuts. I would pour sweat on it, then it wouldn't work, or my sweat would actually change screens. I was not a fan. A friend heard me complaining about it literally like 2 weeks into it. He had an old 500. He gave it to me. That one lasted another 4 years. And this past year, I finally, after 11 years of using Garmin 500s for the most part, it died. There's not one to be found. And evidently, I'm not the only one who wishes they had a 500 or an improved 500 because that's what Garmin came up with. This is the 530. First off, it has buttons, not touchscreen. I really, really like that. It's small and compact. I don't need half of a cell phone like the 800 series and the 1000 series. That's just not for me. But what it is it does have a much bigger display than the 500. I run with 3 screens typically. I have my 10-second power, I have my cadence, and I usually have mileage on there. So it's very easily easily readable. The screen easy on the eyes. The lighting's good. It's compact enough. It's not that heavy. Pound for pound, it gets mapping, has a ton of bells and whistles that honestly I'm never going to use. But if you're just a simple person and like buttons and durability and the good old days of the 500, the 530 is definitely the way to go. Battery life seems to be pretty darn good as well. Last but not least, on episode 2 of What the Heck Wes Uses, booyah, chamois butter. Okay, so for cyclists, this is pretty common ground. Need to prevent chafing and saddle sores. So this is for all, it's like diaper rash for cyclists, right? However, there are a couple other uses for this as well. As I've stated a few times now, I sweat like crazy. So when I run, especially in the cold weather, when I run in shorts until it gets really, really cold, I still pour in sweat at 30, 35, 40 degrees. Problem is then the air takes that moisture off immediately and I'm left with cold skin covered in salt, which can result in chafing. usually found when you enter the shower. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that sucks. So I actually use this for running. I'll use this for hiking. I'll use this for if I'm going to do a Spartan event, go ruck, anything. Like lubing up the undercarriage is a wise move. So don't just think you got to use it or can only use it for cycling. Furthermore, triathletes. This stuff's pretty cheap. I think it's like 13 bucks for an 8-ounce tube. A little goes a long way. You don't need all the fancy slide stuff, glide slide for your triathlon suit. Hit this up from the knees down, a full coating. That wetsuit will come on and off so quick. It is unbelievable. Plus, it's great then for putting in any of the spots where the seams or something of a wetsuit can chafe you. So, not just undercarriage, but full body protection. Boom, chamois butter. That is it. Now, it's very important for me to tell you, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. There's no discounts to be had. This is simply a review of what I use. Hopefully it helped. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Cheers, guys.